What a good boy you are, Dot. You get into a little more comfortable position, but otherwise, you're a good boy. I know, all those lawn monsters out there. It's hot out. A lot of lawn work going on out there. I think this is the best place for us right now. There were hawks out this morning. Everything is just out there in that big world, isn't it? Yeah, this is a better place to stay. Stay with Dad. Nice and safe. Goes. See, it's much nicer to be in here instead of out there with the hawks, lawn monsters, trash dragons. We stay here. Thought his tail looked a little janky, but it's my belt over his tail. You look like you're wearing a ponytail in your tail. Ponytail tail. Oh my goodness. If I were a squirrel, I would want to live here too. This would be the best place ever. He's fine. And he's fully released. He spends most of his nights out in the trees. But lately, when it's been getting hotter, and with the pre-summer storms, he's come in quite a bit lately, which is fine. It's a good place for squirrelies to be. Oh my goodness. Look how precious you are. Okay. I got you, buddy. Got you. Dot is about 7 months old, probably 8. So he's just a few months away from being able to have kids of his own. Or fathering kids. 10 months is the minimum, I would say, that they start that. But a year is more likely. we'll run out of memory before we run out of squirrely. That's my biggest challenge on this phone, is having the memory to keep these longer videos going. And I know that there are apps and features and clouds and things ethereal that you can use, but we're just a small squirrel rescue. We rescue small squirrels. And everything we have goes to helping baby squirrels. So all that techno stuff is out of our purview. It's been a while since you've fallen asleep in my arms. This was a daily thing when they were babies. They would eat and then fall asleep. Sometimes in my pockets, sometimes in mommy's shirt, sometimes in the most unlikely, uncomfortable places you would ever find, but they're fine with it. They sleep in this little bitty ball in their nests. And the ones I've found, and even the ones back here, stick your hand in there and it's just nothing but filler and fluff, and then you can tell the very, very middle is where they circle themselves up into a little bitty fur ball. And the heat that they put off is insane. After 5 weeks, 6 weeks, they start being able to generate their own heat. Prior to that, you're responsible for their heat, which would be mom or a rehabber or somebody. They can't regulate their own heat prior to 5 weeks or so. Once they get fur and their eyes are open and things are starting to, fluff up, then they're more capable. But so if you ever find a baby squirrel, priority one is make sure it's warm. Before feeding, before water, before anything, make sure it's warm, make sure it's not injured, and then try to find a local rehabber. We're listed all over Facebook, all over everywhere, so just look up squirrel rehab and you'll likely find somebody in your area. The Wildlife Commission sometimes helps, sometimes that they're of the mind that these are rodents and pests, so they don't deal with them much except for in extreme cases, and then they usually end up with the worst result. So if you can, try to find a rehab and release. Somebody like us, we take them in, make sure they're good to go, train them up into little squirrely habits, and then we let them out somewhere about 4 months old. But with the unique way things are here, we have it's very common for them to linger longer. It's a place of safety when there are hawks out or storms or lawn or trash machines going by. For a little while they keep coming here, but eventually they all wild out. It seems like the girls wild out faster than the boys, but I'm of the mind that they have stuff to do. By the time they're 4 months old and leaving mommy's nest or our dray porch, they're on a mission, because again, by 10 months to a year old, they're going to be ready to have kids, which means they learn to nest, they learn to build multiple places where the babies can be moved to in case of an emergency. They learn what's good to forage around here, and the girls continue to come back for quite a while, but not like this. They don't just linger very long. They'll come for food, safety, water, to cool off, but they're ready to go back out. I've noticed that most of the girls wild out before the boys do by a long shot. But when you're a boy squirrel, what do you gotta do? Wait until I'm old enough to have baby kits, find food, learn to play, learn to defend myself, and make sure that I'm safe. And the boys don't help rear the kids. They're, hang on, let's get you a little more stable. There we go. They're sort of alright, I did my job, I'm on my way. But the mommies will stay with the babies till they're about 10 weeks old and then kick them out. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the comments we get. Thank you for the questions we get about squirrels. A lot of folks don't know anything about them other than they're rats with fluffy tails. Partially true. They have a lot of rat-like habits, but they're also nothing like them in some instances. We do get a lot of help from folks that enjoy our content, so if you do, and you ever get the opportunity, it's always tremendously helpful. But I'm just glad that you're watching and enjoying the same thing I do. And maybe you learned something. Like, let's see, what might you not know? Squirrels are one of the few animals that can turn their rear feet, almost 180 degrees backwards. So imagine, take your feet and turn them almost all the way around, pointing backwards, and flipped over. So when they're running down or climbing something and they need to come downward, you've seen a cat go up a tree, it takes 2 seconds. You ever see a cat come down out of a tree? That's a project. They scoot down face forward as much as they can and then they take the leap. Squirrels, like bats, can hang from their back feet, which means that going up, down, side to side, they have the same grip, the same amount of force on the back paws that allows them to change direction. And actually, if something's chasing them down a tree, the squirrel will climb down the side, and whatever animal it is most likely won't be able to do the same maneuver. Dude, you are like a little furnace down here, like a ball of heat. I know, it's warm out here and then you just crank up the heat. I think we need to go and find a pool or some ice or something. Oh. I think it's lunchtime. Be well, be safe, be nice. Night night.